Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report one more time. I'm John. I'm coming to you today a little later than usual. I had my heart doctor appointment today with Dr. Colburn down at the Ballard Heart Health Center, and it went great. And as usual, they did a wonderful, wonderful job, and I'm good. So I'm back here at the studio right now to tell you that we have some problems going on in this country that we're all fully aware of right now with this horrid election cycle that we have to live through here and decide what we're going to do to either save this country or give it away to the cabal of one world order that's going on, which we don't know who is behind it or what's happening. But if you look at the European situation in England and now in Germany, there is a definite problem that is affecting us all. And if you dare say anything about it in any of these regions, you're labeled as a conspiracy theorist and Hitler-like.
What?
We're in a situation right now where what you see is not what you see. What you're hearing is not what you're hearing, although this is what they want you to believe anyway. We have a radical leftist agenda in this country which is spread across the world right now, and we all need to be aware of that fact. There's no getting around it. There's something going on, and it's not good. Whether or not we like to understand that this is happening, it is. And it's happening right before your eyes, but there is a disruptor standing in the way of a total socialistic one world order right now. And we don't even know who is running our country right now. It certainly isn't Joe Biden. We all know that. We've all seen that. We all know now that it's not Kamala. So who is behind this cabal that is trying to push through an agenda here and trying to negate anyone who steps in the way of what they have planned for this nation going into 2025? Joe Biden rears his head every now and then and will lie. Just like he did yesterday when someone asked him about would he accept or is the country going to accept the results of an election. And he came out and said one more time that if Donald Trump wins or loses rather, he's predicting a bloodbath. Now, this has been taken out of context so many times. What he was talking about when he uttered that statement, he was visiting in Detroit with the automobile workers in Detroit and said simply that if something doesn't change in the automobile industry and these people get reelected, it will be a bloodbath for that industry. That was pure and simple, a simple statement that has been taken out of context by the Biden administration on many occasions, and they continue to do so.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
The lies that come out of the Biden White House are too many to list. From the press secretary to Kirby to any of these people that are involved in telling you what's actually going on have done nothing but lied and covered up the fact that our president was not all there during the last 3.5 years. It took the debate and it took the visit to Normandy by him to wake most of this country up to the fact that he has no idea where he is and what he's doing half the time.
What a maroon.
Well covered up by his vice president, Kamala Harris. Had to know. Most of the cabinet is aware, or was aware, of his inabilities to carry out the presidential duties that he was elected to work on. The one presidential or vice presidential duty that she was given was to take care and stem the tide at the lower border, and that we all know how well that worked out. And now she has the answer to fix the whole thing. The news media is complicit in this cabal. Make no mistake about that. Mainstream media carries the banner for whatever is going on that we don't know about. They're pushing a narrative that is an untrue narrative. They lie to you every day. Their opinions only go down one side of the street and don't cross over to the other side unless it's to stick a knife in one of their own. This is evident in the fact that if you switch from channel to channel, and now even the European news networks are using the same terminology, the same exact words in description of their narrative is being used by each and every different channel that you turn on. How is that? How is that they use the same wording? The buzzword of the day. Yesterday or the day before, it was weird. How do you get more weird than a carnival cabinet that's sitting in power right now?
Sideshow Bob.
It's a circus. It's almost a sideshow. And you have the curly-headed woman that just carries on like Sideshow Bob. Carrying the narrative. The news media carries the narrative for the left. And if you say anything against it, you're a right-wing conspirator. What happened to fair and balanced? What happened to news reporters that read you the news without an opinion, without leaning one way or another, just gave you the news? Where can you find that now? You have to go to a platform like this, and even this, in some areas, is corrupted and misinforming. Mm-hmm. You have to spend an entire morning to do a show like this because you have to take everything that you hear, everything that you read, and everything that you think is right, and you have to vet it before you come out here and tell you, our subscribers, a mistruth. We don't want to do that. We don't want to push one candidate over another, but when one candidate is so blatantly so far left and radical, you have to let people know that. The country has been through an awakening after experiencing a pandemic, a woke agenda, wars that are out of control, that we should have no part in, but our tax dollars are going to support one side or the other. Prayer has left this country. We've turned our back on God in this country, and we have allowed Satan and his demons to enter our Congress, our Senate, and our society in droves without being checked. And now we sit and worry. It's not if, it's when someone is going to pop a cell phone message out and have these terror groups that are building inside our own borders, or what's left of our borders, to do damage that will maybe wake somebody up or kill us all. We need to bring God and Jesus Christ back in our life and ask for help, because we're not going to get help from any politician. You're not going to get help from any talking head on a mainstream media network. You're never going to get any help or truth out of anybody that comes out of the Hollywood walk of life. It's all about money and enrichment of the elites and what they want to do with your children's education, with your jobs, with your ability to live a good life in this country, your ability to pursue happiness. They don't want you happy. They want you dumb, eating bad food that's killing you so you can decrease the surplus population. How Dickensian. What can we do about it? We have to show up en masse on Election Day, and we have to vote from our hearts, and we have to ask the Lord Almighty for guidance in how to do that. Is Donald Trump a bad man? Probably not. Is he a misunderstood man? Probably not. Does he say really outrageous things from time to time? Absolutely. But can he run a business? Absolutely. Can he help our foundering economy right now? Absolutely. Are there other people out there that can do the same thing? Yes. Are there other people out there willing to put not only their acumen and history on the line, but also their life on the line to save this country? I can't find anyone. The big talk today on mainstream media is all about defending Tampon Tim here on his stolen valor that's come mainstream right now out of the people that I guess served in the National Guard with him. I don't know much about this. I guess that he refused to go when it came time and let the rest of his team go without him. This is all I know about it. However, should that be an issue? I don't know. Probably not. But it does go to show something about character. But, behind every person, there's other things that go on in family, with family, in your own mind that may make you make a decision no, I can't put myself into that right now because. And we don't know what his excuse for that is. I think he's just a very poor choice for a VP candidate. I think he looks silly out there throwing his arms up in the air like he's the savior that's come out of what? Come out of a state that has been absolutely destroyed. Minneapolis, I lived there for a short period of time in my life, and I have to tell you something. Minneapolis was a fun, great city all around. And the land of 1,000 lakes, Minnesota, is a beautiful state. All the way up into the Mesabi Iron Range and Duluth and Lake Superior. It's a beautiful state. However, during the George Floyd incident, he allowed BLM to burn the city of Minneapolis, burn out people's livelihoods, never apologized for it, and took a stance that was totally not a good stance to take. The police officers were defunded. They let them burn the city. Then he goes out and does all the woke things with the schools, putting tampon machines in boys' bathrooms to take care of the people that think that they're in the wrong body and whatever. These are things that are pushed upon us, that the non-believers in the DEI set. And we have to accept that, but they cannot. These same people cannot accept what we feel should be good for the nation and what we feel our given names are. And the fact that you have to sign off on things in Minnesota using pronouns, and this is things that he put into law, are absolutely ridiculous. The whole idea is ridiculous. You do whatever you want. You can be whoever you want to be, but you don't push your agenda onto people that don't believe the same way you do. And that goes for religion, politics, and anything else that you can think of. We're in some trouble here with regard to how our nation is going to survive. How will we get the economy back? But most of all is how will we get a government with a balanced budget and the proclivity to not spend every dollar that we gain in taxes on stupid programs with no end results or wars that are taking place in someone else's borders that we should not be involved in. You would think that we would have learned a lesson in Vietnam. You would have learned a bigger lesson in Kuwait. And then you would really have to be hard-pressed not to think, what in the hell are we doing in Iraq and Afghanistan? Look at the amount of good people that have come home from these theaters missing limbs, been disfigured, if not killed in action. Look at these people and ask yourself, as the song said back in the 60s, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. We have a great nation, and we have a duty right now to save this great nation in the best way that we can know how. And the best way we can know how is to get the truth from the people that want to go into our government and control what happens to this nation. You cannot have somebody a scant year ago tell you this is the program that we're going to follow, like it or not. And then all of a sudden now, re-election time, all that's reversed, and the media is saying, oh, well, that used to be, but she's changed her mind, or he's changed his mind. That doesn't work that way. You have to get the answers you need for the problems that exist, and here are the problems in the United States right now and taking place as well in the UK, Germany, and France. You have to shut down your borders and stop the illegal flow of people that you do not know anything about from entering into your sovereign territory. That's number one. Number two is you cannot spend $1 more than you make. You have to borrow, and then you have to pay back what you borrow. Our economy is in dire straits right now. And don't look at the stock market to be your barometer for what's going on. They have overspent through our lawmakers in Congress, in the Senate, and a president that is a drunken sailor when it comes to just writing checks for everything. We are housing illegal aliens that illegally came across our border as refugees in hotel rooms and feeding them, and they actually are destroying the hotel rooms that they're living in for free. These are the matters that have to be addressed on how we're going to fix this, or what man or what woman running for office right now can fix this or start a program to take care of this is what we need to know from these politicians. Anyone who is set in Congress for any period of time and has gone along part and parcel to the leftist agenda that has been the Biden-Harris administration, if they are up for re-election, make sure they go home. We've already had, I guess it's 2 squad members now didn't make the primaries that they were in. Thank God. And now we have Ilhan Omar coming up for her primary. I pray to God the same thing happens to her. She should have been deported. She's broke the law. She's lied to Congress. She's lied to us. And she is one of the deepest cuts that we need in the squad today. It's a lot of political nonsense that's going to be in your face every day for the next 90 days until this comes to fruition. Which brings me to tell you about Jamie Raskin. And this has been vetted, and it's out there if you choose to look it up. He made this statement when he was running down our Supreme Court justices in their decisions, that it's been handed back to them, Congress, and he intimated him that if Donald Trump should win, and it has to be certified on January 6th, that because of the Supreme Court decision, it's going to be left up to him and Congress to disqualify Donald Trump and install someone else, and he fears that it will end up in civil war when they disqualify him. They're already telling you what you are going to experience. We need to get together as a nation and stop that kind of thing happening in our sitting Congress. If you've listened to any of the hearings, the judiciary hearings and other hearings that he's involved in with his point of order every time somebody says something against their regime, you already know where his alliance lies. He's a POS. And if he comes up to be running out of his seat, he needs to be put out. He made a mistake making that statement because now we've heard it and you can't take that back. So I urge everyone to study, learn about your candidates, get answers from your candidates, and pray that you make the right decision come November or in early voting before. And if you are thinking of early voting, and unless your mind is solidly made up, you may want to wait and vote on election day, because you can't take back. When you find out something about one or the other, you can't make that change back. Will there be dead people voting again? Probably. Will there be illegal aliens in this country able to vote? In some states, yes. They're going to do that. So what is the counter effect to doing that? We need to rally everyone that can vote, all of our citizenry that can vote, get out and vote. If you cannot, if you're disabled and you cannot get out to vote, get an absentee voting ballot the legal way, not something that's sent by mail. And if you're in the voting booth, whether it's a primary or the main election in November, if they hand you a ballot that has any handwriting on it at all, I don't care if it's an initial, if it's a dot of ink in the corner, anything like that, that can disqualify your vote. And this is one of the avenues that they take to steal votes. Ask for a new ballot if there's any writing, any marks, anything other than what you're going to put on that piece of paper. Don't allow it. Ask for a new piece. These are the things that we need to be aware of, cognizant at all times of what's going on in and around you in the voting booth. And don't tell anybody what your vote is unless you want to. It's a tough time, and it's a time we have to get through. But it's also a wonderful world with a lot of love. And love is going to get us through. But we have to learn to love each other and not be kept divided by a political party that thinks division is the way they can conquer. But we're going to be united, as it says, in the name of our country, the United States of America. And with that, have a great rest of the Thursday. It's a lot to take in. Be aware of your surroundings at all times, and know that God loves you, your country loves you, and we at the Kaiser Report love you all. So have a great Thursday evening, and we'll see you here tomorrow on the Kaiser Report with something fun for a change. So stay tuned. Bye-bye now.